Hey everybody, it is me, Nerdy Cat, and I am back today with another video for y'all. So I was thinking, I have never really shared why I decided to start coding. I have shared that I did start coding and what school I went to and kind of how I was doing it, but I never really explained why I initially got interested in it or why I decided to do it. So a little bit of background history. I am a mother of two daughters. And most of my career has been in healthcare, dental to be specific. I was an orthodontic assistant for many years, and I've done a few other things. I also worked for a orthodontic distribution center. I worked in the quality division. I also worked in the product development division and marketing. I've had a lot of different career experiences, and none of them have ever been, I think none of them have ever fulfilled me or spoken to me the way that software development does or programming does. What I mean by that is back when I was in high school, I'm taking it back to high school days, you know, you're a high school kid and you're learning and thinking about your life and what am I gonna do, trying to figure everything out. But I realized upon reflection that when I was in high school, I did a lot of the things that I really loved doing. For example, I took a lot of art classes. I took sculpture, I took drawing, I took photography. I was thespians for a little while. I also took desktop publishing classes. I was in the journalism, on the journalism team, and I worked with a school newspaper and created articles and did things like that. And I was always very artsy also. The other thing about me is I've always been a bookworm. I've always loved to read. Even when I was a teenager, my sister would come in my room and she'd jump on me and be like, "Get out, you need to go live." And I'd be like, "Leave me alone, I just want to read my book." But I've always had a love of reading and books. And when I reflect, I've always had a love for computers and technology and art. But you grow up and you kind of go by the advice of, you know, influencers in your life, whether that's your parents or friends or what have you. And in my case, my mother was an influencer. She was like, go to school to be a nurse, do something in the medical field. It's traditional, it's stable, it's secure. So I kind of ended up putting the things that I really loved to the side, more for convention and security. But in 2015, a lot of things happened, and it was one of those years that just kind of beats you up. I lost my home. I ended a very long-term relationship. My youngest daughter got diagnosed with juvenile arthritis. I lost my car. I was in a horrible car accident. I lost my ability to drive. I lost my job. Basically, I lost things in my storage. It was just one of those years where just life just kicks your butt, and it was really, really bad. But I think that I know that all of those things had to happen to get me to the point where I was enlightened to the career that is right for me, to what I want to do in life. So I say that because when you're in a tough spot and you're in, you know, tough times, you think, and sometimes you can't find a solution, and you're like, oh man, this is too tough. And you find yourself down in a deep, dark hole, and you're like, I can either sit here and just give up, or I can just, you know, get out and figure it out. And I chose option B. Excuse me. I am a Christian, and I prayed a lot, and I feel like God spoke to me and he said, Kathy, you do have a purpose. You have a for sure reason to be here, and I'm gonna help you figure it out. And he did. I decided in 2015 to go ahead and enroll in a technical drafting program. And I enrolled in it because upon reading the summary, I saw drawing on the computer. And I was like, cool, I love art. I love desktop publishing. When I remembered it from high school, I was like, this is gonna be cool. Let me try this. So I got out of the dental healthcare field and I did that program. It was a 2-year program. And while I was in the program, I ended up getting a position with a structural engineering firm. And I started doing 3D modeling on the computer with a software product called Revit by Autodesk. And although that was awesome and it was, fun doing it, that career choice didn't satisfy my creative side because it's not necessarily a creative field. It's more of you learn how to use the tools and then you do it. You do whatever is required of you. So in my case, for a structural engineering firm, I had to build 3D models of structural components of buildings. So beams and walls and roofs and floors. You built basically buildings on the computer in a 3D environment. And again, it was really cool doing it, but it didn't meet that need of me knowing what's going on in the background or physically creating something. Well, not physically, but you know what I mean, like creating something. It was something that was already created. And because of that, I started doing some more research into creative types of careers. And what I landed upon was web development. I also, again, like I mentioned, I also used to love reading and writing. And at that point in my life, I said, well, you know what? I want to start a blog. I have 2 daughters and I have a ton of things in the world to teach them. And I'm going to start a blog dedicated to them, teaching them about things in life. So I learned WordPress and I started doing WordPress. And then even with WordPress, I said, you know what? There's more to this than what I am doing here. So I kept on researching, I kept on looking, and I eventually found out about web development and technology and software development programming. And I said, wow, this is exactly what I am supposed to do. I can create something. I can create anything. I can make anything that's meaningful and something that's going to help people in the future. I don't know everything yet, but I got into the field and I started learning the basics, so HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and now I'm a bit more enlightened as to the fact of what these things can do. Not necessarily an expert in any of them yet, but I know that it exists, and that is part of the process of molding your life and doing what it is that you want. I know that it's what I want to do because I've done part of it, and it has been extremely challenging. There's still a kabillion things I need to learn, but it's really an engaging career field. It really stimulates your mind. You get to express how it is that you think and how it is that you solve problems, and it just generates productivity, it generates ideas, it generates innovation, it generates collaboration, and it just keeps the world going. And I think that's so exciting and just so cool. And that's why I decided to get into web development and software development or programming. And again, like I've always said in all my other videos, women, minorities, anyone, kids, it's definitely something that I encourage everybody to learn how to do. And part of my reason, again, for making this channel is to help others and bring awareness to the fact that you can do it. It's hard, but if I can do it, going through all the things that I've done or all the different things that I've done, there's no reason why you can't either. So again, I'm also always just looking to inspire you guys and motivate you guys and tell you go for it, because it is something that is highly beneficial and will change the quality of life that you live. It's going to be tough. You're going to have to make sacrifices with time and just different things, but I know that I'm getting there, and myself, and I'm taking it step by step. I'm trying to be patient with myself. I tend not to be. I tend to sometimes go like, oh, this is taking too long, I need to learn it, and then I take a breath and I'm like, I need to learn this, and I need to learn it correctly so that it can save time in the future. So I just wanted to share with you guys the reason why I started coding or programming. And the other thing was, again, I wanted to share with you guys a little bit about me. So like I mentioned before, I have 2 daughters and a dog, and they are my world. What else? I love reading, I love writing, I love art. Favorite candy? I have it right here. Oh, upside down. Skittles. I also like Starburst. Any type of fruity, chewy candy is delicious. Cooking, reading to little children, and what else? Oh, fun fact or interesting fact, I won a national speaking competition. It was called extemporaneous speaking. It's a big fancy word for make a speech on the fly right now. You get 3 minutes to think about what you're going to say, and then you just say it. So that was really cool. I've never done anything like that in my life, but I ended up going to nationals and winning second place in that particular field. So those are just a few things about me. That's why I started coding, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you get motivated, and I will be back soon with another video. Thanks for watching.